the label foreign agent is bad. It's badly perceived by Russian people. So this is exactly what the state is trying to do, to get the label to as many people as possible. Like if you disagree with the state, you are a potential foreign agent. It's one thing to have law that is strict, and it's another thing to have unpredictable legal practice, meaning the way how the law is applied. And we are not sure how it will be applied. So for instance, we have one law that allows the Ministry of Justice to block any program that an NGO foreign agent is thinking or is planning to implement in a year. And we don't know how it's going to be applied. Can the Minister of Justice say, well, we don't want Memorial to have its program that is helping people in the European Court of Human Rights? Can they say that? My name is Marina Agaltsova. I'm an attorney at law at Human Rights Center Memorial. Memorial is dealing with the most brutal human rights violations that are happening in my country. The cases that we are dealing with involve enforced disappearances, when people were abducted by state agents and then there was no real investigation into the abduction. In these cases, normally we don't see people anymore. That means that they've died. Then we're also dealing with cases of police brutality or brutality of the security services, for instance. In these cases, the security services would kill a person, claiming that the person, for instance, during apprehension used violence, but in fact there were no signs of violence. In addition to that, the cases of freedom of expression and freedom of assembly. These are much lighter and much easier psychologically cases, but they are also equally important for my country. In my opinion, the freedom of assembly here is very much limited. In the beginning of 2000, we had really a lot of various NGOs, but then the state decided to cut the freedom of assembly and the number of NGOs was decreasing significantly. After the passage of foreign agent law, the number of NGOs decreased too, and I guess it decreased really significantly because not so many people were willing to have the label foreign agent. This label for Russians mean a spy, basically. course, it is very difficult to have the label of foreign agent because it affects psychologically us, the employees of these kind of NGOs. Because you have to say, well, I am putting a label, but this is a compromise that I have to do to perform the work that I'm doing. Because I'm doing much more than just, being a foreign agent. I am helping people who otherwise will be completely helpless. This strategy, of course, is not something that people like doing because it's repulsive to call ourselves foreign agents. The year 2019 was extremely difficult for us. And it was difficult because we had more than 27 proceedings going on at the same time, which of course needed a lot of resources, basically human resources. We needed lawyers to go to the courts. And of course, these were lawyers working in our legal department. Our legal department, by the way, is supposed to be dealing with the cases that had to go to European Court of Human Rights. We were fined, and the amount of the fine was really enormously big. It's around 60,000 euros. 60,000 euros for not having a label on our YouTube channel or Twitter. Of course, these are incredibly huge fines for an NGO. It was really difficult to imagine where we would get the money. However, we started a big campaign that was designed to help Memorial, and we, in fact, collected all necessary money to pay the fines. So we paid the 60,000 euros because of people who were helping to save us. Quite honestly, sometimes I wonder whether this kind of danger that the state has put Memorial helped in raising Memorial profile, because when people saw that Memorial is under that danger, they were willing to help much more than in usual circumstances. So I think that the state helped to raise Memorial profile because of the fines. Again, we survived thanks to the people. It is very difficult to now say for sure in which way the laws that passed in December 2020, as well as in spring 2021, how these laws will affect the life of foreign agents. I say it is difficult because it's one thing to have law that is strict, and it's another thing to have unpredictable legal practice, meaning the way how the law is applied. Can the Minister of Justice say, well, we don't want Memorial to have its program that is helping people in the European Court of Human Rights? Can they say that? There is this danger. We just have to live with this danger. So I don't know how the changes of the end of 2000 and the beginning of 2021 will affect the current state of affairs, which, by the way, was already bad. I just think that they were intended to be as a danger, which at some point can be used against NGOs that are either stubborn or too active in opposition. The latest changes in foreign agent legislation were done, because basically for the same reasons that this law has been introduced in the first place. The state want to label organizations as organizations that are kind of patriotic, and the organizations that are not patriotic, that are foreign agents. The state wants to label people who are disagreeing, people who think that the country is going not in the right direction, and that the country has to focus more, much more, on human rights and not on conservative values like family, orthodox religion, and the majesty of state.
My name is Darja Apakhontjitj. I'm a teacher of Russian language. I'm also an artist. I made a lot of street performances and street art, and also organized quite enough exhibition and festival in St. Petersburg and Helsinki in Estonia also. The main topic of my art is violence against women, but also I do a lot of anti-militarist art, eco art, and so on. At the end of December, I was added to the list of foreign agents, which means that now I have to see all posts, all materials, all pictures in all social medias that I'm foreign agent. Another thing that now 4 times a year I must write a big report to the Ministry of Justice about all my money, how do I get it, and also how do I spend it. Yes, and it's quite a big document, about 85 pages, and that's a lot of work, I can say. What if I don't want to do that? So first, it is kind of fine that I must pay, and the worst thing that it could be like 2 years of prison if I'm not going to do that. So now I have already sent 2 reports to the Ministry of Justice. Yeah, this form, this report was written for NGO, not for individuals, and it's absolutely strange. So very strange, very ridiculous thing to feel it, because it's not easy to understand how how is it for you, or how to write it, because it is the questions like I don't know, what kind of event did you organize for, in interests of which countries did you organize this event, and so on. Very strange questions. The first part, it is money. So Ministry of Justice said to me that the reason were like my salary from Red Cross where I work, my salary from French college where I worked also, payment from Museum of Political Photography in Helsinki, payment from the magazine Le Monde. It's very few, I don't know, 200 or 300 euro. Okay, and money which I get from just my friend. He sent it as just as a help. Okay, so I get money from people from other countries, and the second reason it is my activity online. So the problem is that I am not just a foreign agent. I am a media foreign agent. Yeah, it sounds very strange, and it is very strange. So my status is like a Radio Freedom, for example. It is the same. I'm in the same list of media foreign agents. So I was active online. I was active on Facebook, for example, on YouTube. So Ministry of Justice sent it to me the list of my activities, like active page on Facebook, on Vkontakte, it is Russian social network, and on YouTube we had a YouTube channel about feminism. Feminists Explain, the name of this channel. And what else? And they also add a list of examples of my activities. They said, Ministry of Justice said, okay, for example, the post about manifestation, about political manifestation on Vkontakte. The article on Kolta magazine about domestic violence. There also post about exhibition about Yulia Tsvetkova in Eve's Rips Feminist Center in St. Petersburg. So Ministry of Justice sent it to me, the list of my publication and pages, and these activities online plus my money from different countries. So these are two reasons. That's why I'm a foreign agent. In the end of January, police came to my flat. It was police search, and they started to break the door of my flat. It was early in the morning. It was Sunday, and they arrested all my devices, computers, cell phones, cards, like everything. They spent 7 hours in my flat. And after I made a post that I lost all my computers, and a lot of people sent money to my account just to help me, so I could buy new devices for me and my children. But some people were not so nice. For example, the landlord of my flat, he said that I'm a criminal, so I must go away from his flat. Yeah, it was not very nice. I'm still a foreign agent, and probably I will be a foreign agent forever.
Fillippova, nice to meet you here at the Sakharov Center, and welcome to Moscow. What we do here at the Sakharov Center is we save the legacy of Andrei Dmitrievich Sakharov, the inventor of the Soviet hydrogen bomb and Nobel Peace Prize winner. We do different activities in terms of informal education, informal human rights education, and we also serve as a kind of human rights hub for organizations that work with human rights, or human rights organizations that want to host their events, and activist groups also host their events in our premises. And we also have a small museum where we work with the history of the totalitarian past. The new legislation is designed that it can further restrict free speech and further restrict organizations that are called foreign agents here in Russia and prevent them from working on their projects. The aim of the authorities enforcing such law is quite evident. They are working on creating a more homogeneous society. They are trying to swaddle the society and make it more soft, make it more workable, so to say. One way how it can change in the future because of the new legislation is that the foreign agents will be cut off from the civil society, from the society in itself. And the government is going to be able to control awareness-raising programs and awareness-raising activities, as well as informal education activities, as it sees fit. And we don't see it's going to be anything nice. But the other version of what can happen is that all independent actors, and in particular foreign agents, but also any kind of educational and formal educational projects from, ecologists or botanists or anyone who basically wants to hold a lecture or a meeting with students should pass through a filter, which doesn't seem feasible at the moment, but the groundworks, the papers for this approach that filters out everything that is not supported by the government, it is already there. The new legislation that has been already adopted seriously hinders the ability of foreign agents, organizations that are called foreign agents, our organizations, to interact with the students, to interact with school teachers or university teachers. And further amendments are proposing to make organizations approve their programs beforehand, approve the lectures or whatever events they want to hold as awareness-raising events of any kind. The public discussion of the legislation, the new legislation, has gathered more than 25,000 dislikes on the portal where the public is discussing future legislation, governmental portal. And 260,000 people signed a change.org petition. What it means in terms of the next steps of the government, it's hard to predict because the discussion of the amendments, it was just stopped. It wasn't sent to the next level, but It's been on pause since May, since receiving such negative feedback from the public. And technically it should be approved or disapproved by now, but nothing happened. It's just on pause. So we believe that the public outcry somehow helped, but we are not sure that it's not going to be approved anyways. I hope that in the future we will be with you with better news, with more good news. For now, we don't know how it's going to develop, but I certainly believe that the values we are standing to, we are trying to uphold, are still there, and no matter what the government does, no matter what the governmental bodies say, peace, progress, and human rights are something that will stay with us as a value no matter what. Thank you.